Oh boy, it's hot here.
It's getting hot in
the
here.
Communal Creative
So
Studios.
take off
Red Deer, Alberta. I mean, your clothes are already half off. You're wearing shorts already.
all year round, baby.
It's raining. I mean, it's 13 degrees. My God, I had no idea.
That's like not even think about it.
I wore
shorts
this
weather.
jacket because I came here straight from work, and I don't love wearing my work shit on the road, the stage.
There's a collar on under there, isn't there?
Yeah, that's fine, but it is, holy fuck, I'm sweating so much.
And like for the lay person who hears us putting out episodes week after week after week,
Yes,
like nothing's gone on. We haven't seen each other.
It's been
in like 3 weeks.
Well, since this interview. Since
Was that
this
the last
interview,
time?
probably. Yeah, so at least 2 weeks.
So what's new?
A lot. I moved. I mean, things look a little different here right now because there is a band currently recording in Communal Creative Studios.
Yep.
So things are a little different. And then also the interview is going to look a little different for the first time, right? This is the first release from Brennan's office, the back office at Bose.
We haven't done, that is the first time outside of these walls.
We got a couple more coming up too, but that's kind of cool.
And we have a producer with one less appendix.
Yes.
I guess that's all you have now. So that kind of delayed us from kind of getting together and doing.
Yeah, well, it's been a crazy time.
Done blowed up. Have you ever had like a
not yet
freak?
I anticipate it, but no,
appendix?
Not yet. I don't know. It doesn't that happen to a lot of people?
It does actually. Yeah.
Did you?
I've still got mine.
Right.
Lord willing.
It'll come out one of these days.
Nothing. No broken bones. No
never
emergencies.
Broken a bone in my life. I've got stitches on my forehead.
Lobotomy.
You'd think, but no. I fell and cracked my head on a play set in a laundromat in Toronto when I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
No, never broken a bone. Can you believe that? I don't think so.
Man of Steel.
I was informed once by a doctor that if my foot continued to feel cold, that they might have to take it off. And that was after my friend landed both feet flat on my shin. I fell on the ground. We had to tumble down a hill. Boom, planted right on my, and it was black and blue and yellow and green and purple for about 3 or 4 days. Couldn't walk. Finally went to the doctor. I was like, yeah, my foot's really cold. And she's like, well, you're going to have to watch that because if that happens, that might be cause for amputation. I was like, what? That's it.
We'll let the gangrene develop first.
Working on the golf course, taking off my boot every hole to try to figure out what my foot temperature was at. But anyways, no broken bones. We're back to normal, kind of. We've got shows, and we had this chat, which I think we've both been looking forward to. His name is Brandon Williams, goes by Chastity.
So early candidate for album of the year,
I think
right?
so.
Like
I think so. I still listen to it at
phenomenal.
least weekly since it came out in January.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. A lot of work went into it, I think.
And we pulled them off the road. They were bombing down the QE2 between Calgary and Red Deer, as a lot of bands do.
Yep. For Big Winter Classic, Winter Eruption thing or whatever it was called.
Pull the van over and let's go into a tiny little office and have a chat.
And that's what we did on this week's episode of The Road, the Stage. So yeah, it was good. It looked like the crowd was into it.
It was really, it was cool. It was, like, these are our first few shows back now since we've put out the record.
Yeah.
So I said to the crowd last night, like, we haven't had a hometown show. You know, you're supposed to have a release show typically on the weekend via drop or whatever. So I told them, like, you made it feel like a hometown kind of show, you know, last night. It was good.
That's great.
People singing and shit. I don't know. It felt good.
Well, you did put out an album that was extremely singable too.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
so
in January, right?
In January.
Yeah. You know, I you can take this however you want, but my question, ego aside, is like, what's it like to put out a record before the end of the first month of 2022 that, like, I mean, I can't be the only one that really strongly feels like it's a contender for best record of the year.
Damn. Well, I appreciate it. I guess we'll wait and see. My first instinct is anxiety that it'll be just buried in all the other good shit that's bound to come throughout the year. And so I wonder when there's like the wisest time to drop something to be on those fucking lists. You know what I mean? At the end of the year.
Or is it you release the deluxe edition in like October?
Right.
Throw a couple extra tunes on it.
That's true. I'll talk to the labels. Right? But yeah, it's true. I think we want to do something because it's a part of a trilogy, and I think I want to box them up somehow and zip them up together and sell them as a 3 piece, You know what I mean?
Is this part 3?
It's part 3.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good
So
to know.
it's the sort of the finale of this idea anyway. But
and then Pete and I were talking about it earlier, but like, you know, it's been a couple months since the album came out. We've had plenty of time to go through it. Like, you are Chastity.
mm-hmm.
Have you been playing, like the guys you're touring with right now, have they been your band for a long time? Are they songwriters with you?
Yeah, some of them are. Levi played on the record. Julia played on Homemade Satan. Curtis has played shows with me and stuff. Chastity's kind of like myself and my friends or whatever, and people roll, and you know what I mean? A lot of people have their own projects. Some people right now are studying, you know what I mean? So it's like, when I roll, it's like, do you want to come or whatever? You know what I mean? And then, so I'm just lucky to be, I think, surrounded by good people and good players.
And so it's a big enough stable that if somebody can't make it or has other commitments, you've got...
Luckily, yeah. I mean, I've got this crew, myself, Levi, Julia, and Curtis on my work visa right now for the U.S. and stuff.
What's Julia's last name?
Noelle.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's wicked. She's a bassist and a songwriter herself. She just dropped a wicked record too this year under Guard Pedal. And Curtis plays with Native Other. He's from the next town over from me. Levi plays with Ellis. There's like, you know what I mean? It's just like small world shit, especially in Southern Ontario. It's like people are playing, you know, like, and it's a lot of playing in a few projects or whatever. So there's conflicts and whatever, like scheduling, and it's like, no worries. You want to roll or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm in a decent situation that the fucking pictures are mostly of me or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's,
but when it comes to actual like songwriting or implementing ideas, like specifically with the string arrangements on the record, like how does that happen? What's the genesis of you putting that into a song?
Yeah. Kelly LaRochette does a lot of the string arrangement and writing, and send her a tune, and she's just kind of a talent, you know. She lives in London, Ontario, where we record most of our stuff, or all of our stuff with Chastity, and is married to the engineer we work with, Simon LaRochette, and again, it's just kind of like small world type of shit, and just lucky to have her involved, and it's been good. She's done there's like a small theater in our town in Whitby, and we did like a performance kind of stripped down acoustic, and we did it with a string quartet.
Oh man, beautiful.
We were lucky to have her involved in that night, and came and played as well, and it was a good crew. So I'm just lucky to have these talented people.
We talk about it so much, but like the community of music, and it sounds like you have an amazing community.
Totally. I've been lucky. Like, I think I started just going to shows and just loving shows and meeting people out and being like, holy shit, that is talent or whatever, as best as I could read it. And then admittedly, I guess I just started poaching, you know what I mean? Like, you wanna come with me? You know? So, I'm lucky for sure. And I think Southern Ontario is like a quite like dense area of people. You know what I mean? It's like 10 million of us or something ridiculous. So
13 or 14.
Is it really?
At this point,
yeah,
I think.
I bet.
I might be wrong, but
I bet
it's funny because most of, maybe not most of the musicians, but a lot of the musicians that we've interviewed over the last year are obviously based in or around the GTA, because that's, you know, where the biggest arts and culture scene is in the country, some might say. But Whitby specifically keeps coming up time and time again.
Yeah.
My grandmother actually lives there, so I've spent quite a bit of time in Whitby.
No way.
Not going to shows or anything, but yeah, she lives on Alexis Way. It's like over by, it's like Taunton and Dundas. Does that make sense?
No way. No. Those, they don't. The Taunton and Brock?
Yes.
Yeah,
maybe, or Brock and Dun.
Four Corners?
Where's that giant fucking all the big box stores started going up in the last like 10?
Taunton and Brock.
Yeah. So she's been living in that area for like 25 years now, probably something like that. So
You've been to Whitby?
Oh yeah, like every time.
Are you
I'm
from
home.
Ontario?
Yeah.
Shit.
Grew
Okay.
up in Scarborough and Oakville.
Oh, okay.
And then so we were in Whitby like every other weekend, just as kids. So it's and my vision of that city is very small because I never experienced the culture because I was pretty young spending time there. But to fast forward 10, 15 years and for that city to continuously come up on the show, who
Tons.
so much.
Yeah.
Who the fuck was the last one? Well, we had Jada Kelly on a few weeks ago.
Oh, sweet.
Which was really, really pleasant.
And who else was? Is Sum 41 Whitby?
Well, so this is like Pickering and Jackson.
Okay, right? It's all in that area.
Yeah. But we've had a number of guests.
It comes up.
And the other. I'm blanking on who else it was. Oh, Sham Family's coming here in a couple months with Born Ruffians, which I love that EP. I can't wait to see that. Do you hang out with them at all? Yeah.
I've heard their music. Yeah, we've DM'd and stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Sweet. Yeah.
But yeah, what's in the water in Whitby?
Well, I think I read a quote that you talked about how there's not a huge culture scene there, right? Like there's 10 hockey rinks if kids want to go and play hockey.
Yeah.
But there's not that option there for the arts kids.
That's
Is
right.
that pretty accurate? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the more isolated these kids are from a community or whatever, the more time they've got in their bedroom alone to be riffing away and writing. And I think it just sort of breeds this frustration and this loneliness and whatever. And I think that's pretty good for good music. It's not maybe good for the mind or the health of these people living there, but
you got to work hard too, then, right? Because you've got to work to find these other people that you can collaborate with and grow that community.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a swim upstream or whatever. And mind you, I think being close to the whatever Toronto is the 4th biggest music market in North America or whatever is handy as well. You can go 45 minutes and play a show in the city. But I don't know what's in the water in Whitby, shout out Chaos and Protest the Hero, and we all went to Anderson Collegiate.
Did you actually? Okay.
Yeah, and I just gotta shout out Mrs. Rogers. There is a drama teacher there that we all had, and I think she's just sort of saw some delinquency in a few of us, and I think pointed it towards some discipline of performing or whatever, and
that's incredible.
I think it's worked out for them and whatever, and AJ Cook from the Virgin Suicides, one of the actors in that, and then a bunch of other stuff, was under Mrs. Rogers.
Is she still teaching?
Mrs. Rogers retired.
Okay.
Yeah, we went. She had a clap out where the whole school clapped her out of the halls, and I got to go to that.
That's amazing.
It was sweet.
That's
She's
so
just
cool.
a legend, in my opinion. She actually brought AJ Cook. I think she was on Grey's Anatomy or something at the time, but it was in town in Whitby, and brought AJ Cook in to talk to us and talk to the class and stuff. It was amazing. So it's she's just showing us examples of don't let them tell you can't do this or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not. I guess in Whitby it kind of does feel like there's a lot of people dreaming of different stuff, which is fine, and maybe an NHL career or whatever, you know. But then there's just there are these small groups of people that, you know what I mean, the long hair, black clothes folks, you know what I mean?
And are they clashing quite a bit? Is there...
Not
can
totally.
you tell the difference? No, between the hockey guys and the...
Not totally in my experience.
That's great.
It was... Yeah, but maybe it was a different era or whatever, but I worked in the hockey arena. I mean, there were some slurs thrown around by some of the losers, you know what I mean, in the hockey arena. I guess my pants were tight at the time, and who knows, so some losers, but but anyway, Whitby, I keep hearing of new bands and stuff too, and it's it's so exciting every time I come across something. I'm like, yes, let's do this. And I wonder if we can open a venue.
Well, that's why. Is there not a stage or a place?
No.
You didn't go to too many shows growing up in Whitby?
In Oshawa.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So there was the Dungeon in Oshawa, which was tight, and I saw some crazy stuff there. Saw Despised Icon there. And
cool.
A bunch of touring bands. You know what I mean? It would usually be the Monday night.
Yeah.
They played Toronto or Montreal, and then on their way through, we'd get the Monday. But world-class acts, you know what I mean? In my opinion.
Yeah.
Saw Suicide Silence there. Saw a bunch
Wow.
of like good metal and stuff there. But then it closed, you know, and there hasn't been anything since, really, other than like these big theaters, like 700 cap
Yeah.
or something, which, bless them, but there's
That's
nothing.
tough. Red Deer's very similar, honestly.
Is it?
We're right between Edmonton and Calgary, so we've
Yeah.
got Bose now that has
Yeah.
stepped up and taken. So we do get world-class acts in.
Sick, yeah.
But that's the thing. Usually Red Deer gets skipped over. You can
Yeah.
play the million population city there.
Yeah.
And there's a million there, and then there's a little 100,000 right in the middle. That
Right.
Usually gets skipped over. But no, Bose has definitely done a huge job of building that.
We had
Love that.
Raids here on Monday night.
Oh, sick.
So they're doing a little stretch through Alberta. They had a big Winter Classic show. And they're all from Calgary. They all went to Western Canada High School or whatever it's called in Calgary, and now based in Montreal.
I didn't
Never
know
been to
that.
fucking Bose. Never been to
Oh,
Red
wow.
Deer. Never played a show in Red Deer.
Crazy.
And they came here on Monday night,
Mm.
pretty low crowd.
Yeah.
They were just hoping, they were doing this tour basically to work out some kinks, like, do some rehearsals and stuff. It was one of the best sets I've ever fucking seen.
So sick.
And they were like, holy shit, okay, we're coming back here.
Yeah.
Which was super validating, right?
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my suspicion in Whitby is that if you just activate these people, you know what I mean, that are maybe wanting shows, then they'll roll.
Yeah.
So we found that we started doing barn shows, in Whitby. There's a barn just up in sort of the rural part of Whitby, and people came through, and it was like, there you are. I knew you were there.
Yeah.
So
That's sweet. Well,
Yeah.
I'm surprised, with, you mentioned chaos and protests here, and not one of these guys wanted to invest in a venue over the years.
for real.
Come on now.
Yeah. Okay. We were in Antwerp, Belgium, and in 2020, February or March 2020.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And we'd played this venue once before, but we played it, and I was like, I need to find out who's running the show here. It's a state-run venue. It's
Okay.
they get so much funding from the government to help them with this space, and so we slept in Antwerp, and I came back the next morning, and I just had my phone out, just talking to this guy. I was like, do you mind if I film?
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to show the mayor of Whitby, what we can do culturally. And just shot around this multi-sized rooms and rehearsal spaces.
Oh,
and
shit.
They run workshops out of there, and they have weekends for all ages, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a cafe in there. It's just the ultimate community space for the arts,
Yeah.
So I've got that footage, and I've talked to Kevin anyway, and been we need to knock pretty hard, I think, on the mayor's door, and just be what can we do here? We need some help. Commercial real estate and
Yeah.
the GTA. We're not going to do it on our own.
Yeah.
That's not happening. But if Canada wants to have this reputation of some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sweet country, then I think there's some catching up to do with, especially the Scandinavian countries or whatever, and Belgium and Germany have these sort of state venues that are tight.
Yeah, these certain progressive centers that
For sure.
prioritize arts and culture to a very significant degree.
That's unfortunate. You need the right person in place that gets that.
Yeah.
Right? So if that mayor doesn't, you could probably show him all the footage in the world. If
Yeah.
he's not there.
Gotta
Right.
become the next mayor.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be tight. Yeah. Don't look at my lyrics.
Well, that being said, you are singing about some pretty heavy, pertinent issues. Specifically, I think one of my favorites is Happy Face.
Yeah.
Which I don't personally have that experience of losing someone close to me or having them experience that. I know it's obviously super relevant. But I can only imagine that song is speaking volumes to count an unfortunate number of people out there, right?
For sure. I think it's been a pandemic that has predated this COVID one, you know what I mean, in this country especially, and as we get further out west, I think people struggle everywhere with it, but the numbers are obviously fucked, and we've been singing it, and there's been personal accounts, you know what I mean? People coming up being like, that cried or whatever during this, and hearing this. And I've never had that with a song, honestly, and I didn't totally know. You know, fentanyl is an issue for sure, and but with the bigger issue, I think, is like the resources to help before it even gets there, you know. And I hope the country's sort of scrambling to figure this out, because I think there's solution we can look to in Portugal and whatever, not to keep looking to Europe. They don't have everything figured out right now, but
They got some
but
things.
they've got some things. In Portugal, you know, they decriminalized drug use, you know, and drugs, and instead of criminalizing it, they just figured it out that addiction is a health crisis we got to figure out in people, and how do we do that instead of criminalize these people, because they're just going to continue to fucking drop dead.
Complete mind shift, though,
Yeah.
right? Like, you really have to take people from here over to here to understand what the problem
less
actually is.
slapping wrists and more like holding them.
100%. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know,
That's-
when
it takes-
compassion kind of disappeared. But
Takes a immense level of understanding and acceptance
Right.
from people that don't have a fucking clue what addiction is.
Right. Yeah.
And the problem is, and we see it with so many facets, people aren't willing to dig into it. They'll see a headline,
Right.
and they'll make their assumption based on that headline, and then that's it. There's no digging
For sure.
deeper to see what the real meaning or problem is behind things.
For
I
sure.
think that's kind of an overall issue.
Exactly. Yeah, I get. We just need qualified people. Then we need to vote for qualified people that know what's going on. You know what I mean, and are reading themselves. You know, and then I think it's some public pressure. There's a sweet group. This girl Zoe Dodd. I don't know if you've seen her, but she's confronted the Prime Minister a few times. She works with a group called Tops.
Okay.
In out of Toronto, and they have some harm reduction centers pop up. They get shut down all the time, you know, but they provide safe spaces for people to use, and it's like, let's just start there.
Yeah.
You know, let's start. And I think a lot of people have people they love who use drugs. Let's start there then. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I'm surprised, and do politicians not have people in their lives that use drugs?
Well, guaranteed they do. They just may not know it or want to know it. I think that might, and I think that's like an unfortunate or an uncomfortable truth for a majority of Canadians, is that's just how it is.
Right.
You may be blind to it. It's not necessarily your fault, but the sooner we all realize that it's affecting.
But like many things, it's still, and I think the conversation is moving forward.
Yeah.
And I think there is some progress being made, but there is still the whole sweep it under from everything, from the drug use to mental health issues, which usually kind of tend to go hand in hand.
Right.
There's still that tendency to want to sweep that shit under.
For sure. And I think just the clock is ticking or whatever, and the
100%.
death toll is rising, and it's like the pressure should be on, and hopefully it is. Yeah.
Well, your song is I really appreciate it. I mean, so I can't imagine it's easy to fit fentanyl, that specific word, into a lyric.
True.
But with your, like, how do you just, if someone complete stranger is asking you to describe your music or define a genre, like what's your answer? Do you have
like
one?
when the border asks?
What kind of music?
Like,
What kind of music do you play? Yeah, you like Slash?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
yes, I love Slash.
Yeah. I always just say it's like punk shit. That's like, because it kind of is. It's kind of just like outsidery, like punk type of shit.
Right.
Emo. I don't know what it is, because people say a bunch of stuff to us, and I have no idea. The first record came out, and people were like, Deftones. You love the Deftones? Like, and we were like, we like them. We'll check them out more.
Yeah.
Like, we respect them.
Yeah.
But we were trying to rip off the Pumpkins on the first.
Bit of a different vibe than the Deftones.
Yeah. But I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't have it like an elevator pitch or anything.
So you're not coming here being like, I'm an emo musician.
I don't think so.
Because it is
not
a
that
word used often with your music, right?
Yeah,
especially
totally.
in the last few years with the so-called emo revival.
Right.
Which I'm not quite sure where that is exactly.
I know. Is it in
not
its...
paying attention, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what wave emo revival we're in, but
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think there's like a bunch of influences. Like, I think on the first album it was this Pumpkins thing. I think they are an emo band. I think they were one of the first kind of... There were a lot of other things, but they were an emo band too. And then on the second record it was kind of this...
That's Homemade Satan?
Yeah, like this Smiths kind of thing, which is also an emo band in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, quite emo. And My Chemical Romance kind of thing. And then on this record, it's gotten into the more like sort of like Jimmy Eat World and Mineral and Third Eye Blind kind of sing along.
Yeah.
That era, maybe a bit more commercial.
Actually, it's great that you bring up that Third Eye Blind, right? Because Semi-Charmed Life is a great example of a song that's just so upbeat and catchy and happy and hooky, but dark as shit when you're actually sitting down to listen to the lyrics.
Exactly.
That's actually...
Yeah.
Because I do find, like, on the surface, that album's got, like, it's very, like we said off the get-go, you can sing along to it.
Yeah.
It's got, very much kind of just like an energy to it that feels happy.
Yeah, totally.
But also has, the message that needs to get out there.
Well, that's what I was
Exactly,
thinking this morning, giving it a spin. As dark and gloomy as the lyrics can be, like, there's so much joy in that record.
100%, yeah.
Did you feel that when you were making it?
My neighbor's calling me.
What, is there an animal that needs to be checked on, or is there...
I think the internet must be down. Brothel, I'll call you back. What did you ask again?
Like, I as gloomy as some of the lyrical content can be or might appear to some people, the specific sound, the album, I find I can hear joy. Is that something that you experienced, like when you recorded this album?
Yeah.
You finished writing and you're recording.
Yeah.
Was it a struggle mentally, emotionally?
Deathlust, for sure. Just singing about my experience with death around me, and I think actually all of them. Like, I think it was a struggle to write and to sort of just like reach in as deep as possible inside myself and uncover whatever.
Yeah.
But I think I also like the sort of the depth and the darkness written in C major or whatever. I think I like that about the Smiths. Like, you read those lyrics, you're like, shit, Morrissey, like,
You okay?
what is... Which I don't think he is.
no, definitely not now.
But, but I think it's just... I do just like flirting with happy, you know what I mean? Composition.
Yeah.
And then just like as dark as possible lyrics and whatever. And I think the thing on this album is... I never go out and I'm like, I want to be fucking huge or whatever, but I want this music to reach the kids who the songs are written for, and I want us to be in a room together and for us to feel less alone, for us to sing this shit that we're feeling together, you know what I mean, instead of just stewing over it and whatever. Because my experience in Whitby was being alone until I was at a show. You get what I mean? So... I think maybe if it's written in C major, we can sing along to it better. We can sort of lead the choir. You know what I mean? In that way, maybe. But it's not... It's a struggle to write lyrics that have to be in sort of a safe enough feeling place in order to find them, enough of quiet, you know? I can't really do anything in moderation, I find, like, which is why I don't fucking drink and whatever. It's why I don't.
You know that about yourself.
Yeah, so it's, I go on like I go up north and whatever and write for 4 or 5 days and come back with a set of lyrics, mostly, you know, and I'm lucky to have the time to do that now, especially. So, it's a struggle every record.
Yeah.
I think Deathlust the most so far.
Like, I was listening to some of your songs and then thinking about the band that gets into the studio to sing a song about how, you can do this, we're all in this together. and then like in some sense it's the same message, but it's said completely differently.
Right.
And like in that kind of inspirational, that almost pop inspiration way, I'm sure it's not a struggle to get it out there in the studio and lay it down on a track. But
Yeah.
What's some of the first music that you connected with in that same way? The music that first spoke out to you and kind of helped have you feel not alone. What were some of those bands or songs that?
Yeah. Well, I grew up around music. I grew up in the church, and I grew up around like brass band and hymns, and music that didn't connect with me emotionally. Right. I think God was this figure that I was meant to believe in, and I was trying to, but something wasn't connecting emotionally, growing up, and then I heard The Used, and I heard MXPX was like, I heard the band MXPX in grade 6 or something, and I was like, whoa, this I feel finally. I've been around it, but it took something lyrical, I think, to sort of blow my hair back, and holy shit, like, I'm a punk now, or whatever, you know what I mean? I've sort of found my people, in a sense, or something, like, I'm gonna quit hockey, you know what I mean? Like, I'm out. Yeah, so there were bands like that, and then Protest the Hero, Alexis on Fire. Protest the Hero went to my high school. They're older than me. I never went to high school with them, but there were rumors, like murmurs of blah, 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 blah. I guess the drummer, someone said, you won't wear that same t-shirt for the whole year, and he did. And we all, you know what I mean? Yeah. We were down the hill, like from Anderson Collegiate at the high school. Yeah. This elementary school, C. Broughton. So we would like, can we see Protest the Hero from up? You know what I mean?
That's
like,
so cool.
It was like our idols are going to school up there.
Well, and they were doing shit no one else was doing.
For sure.
It was like mind blowing.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it was insane, and went to like shows at the Polish Hall, before the Dungeon, saw Protest the Hero and Closet Monster.
All ages shows?
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been on Turned Out a Punk yet?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Shit. How long ago was that? You gotta dig that episode up.
Pre-pandemic.
Okay.
Before the pandemic, maybe 2019.
Okay.
But
it's Damien Abraham from Fucked Up's podcast. Do you have a connection with Fucked Up, or?
We toured with them. We got to tour with them in Europe, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah. The idea of like a concept record and being like a intellectual at all with lyrics, I think that's my inspiration. If any, like, I'm not Mike Halachuk, and he's a
the
genius.
Whiz.
Like, for sure, I'm not, but I'm sort of making my attempt at David Comes to Life or whatever on a few of these, just looking up to that band. So, but yeah, Damien had me over, and it was surreal. I was nervous. I was quite nervous just being in his house and whatever. And
with his records.
Yeah. He's like, you heard this? And I'm like, I haven't, honestly. I'm trying to front, like, I probably should have. I'm not going to listen to more.
Yeah.
Like, punk now or whatever.
Hey, he can't hold anyone accountable for not listening to as much punk as he is.
He's a
or having the knowledge.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's 7 inches specifically. He's got, like, we did the interview in a room that was just, like, filled, you know what I mean, to the ceiling with 7 inches. And I think that's what he collects.
Yeah.
He must have 12 inches somewhere, but.
Yeah. Interesting. I got to dig that up. I really love that podcast.
Same.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
So good.
It's a lot of fun, especially when he, like, fucks up the recording, has to do it.
Oh, I know.
Anyways.
I know. I think he just lost a hard drive. Like, I think a hard drive failed and.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, I was going back and listening to his interview with, oh God, the Sadies.
Oh yeah, Dallas.
Yeah. And that was one where they had recorded, I think, a full episode, and then he realized he hadn't actually hit record or something. So to like try to recreate the conversation.
I'll tell you, like, he smokes these like really strong dabs, right? Like, my bassist at the time when we were touring smoked a lot, and he hit these dabs with Damien.
Yeah.
This was actually on a Canadian, or we played Vancouver with them. Anyways, I've never seen. I thought his tolerance would have been whatever, but he hit these dabs and just came out like a zombie after this.
Yeah.
But Damien hit a few of those and then did the podcast, and so I can see he's good and professional, and it's awesome. It's so good. But I can see him maybe potentially forgetting to hit it. I don't know. But
which is so funny coming from someone who like historically didn't do anything until like 10 years ago or something like that.
But I think he's found it helps. I think he was taking medication in the form of pills for anxiety, and I think he smokes for his anxiety. You know, so I think that was his. I don't think it was some breaking edge event. I think it was like, this works better for me actually, or whatever. In his case.
Yeah.
But
no, fucking one of my favorite bands ever has to be Fucked Up. Just so important. Yeah, it's crazy. Someday we'll get him on the show and I'll show him the fucking all the records, all the Fucked Up records I have. Not as many 7 inches as that magical room, but yeah, so good.
And are they playing that Born and Raised?
No, I don't think so. That's like, what is so? That's that festival that just got announced a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
that's is that Kitchener Waterloo?
I think it's Niagara. I think it's St. Catharines because like.
Oh, St. Catharines. Yeah,
St.
it was.
Catharines.
Yeah.
But that's
You're on it.
And you're on it.
Yeah.
With Alexis.
Yeah.
Pop.
Yeah. And City and Color.
Sam Roberts Band, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lineup. We were like, this is a bill.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they nailed it. Like, I think Billy Talent. There's, I know, I'm kind of nervous, but it'll be good.
No, it'll be great. And you know a lot of those people too, right?
I mean, some, like, in a nervous, like, sweaty palms. Like,
still a fan way?
Big time.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm, like, holding in 100 questions I want to ask them about their lyrics or whatever. Like, but I'm just like, hi, nice to see you. I gotta bite my tongue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's fair. It'll still be.
Oh, it'll be unreal. Yeah. Like, I think we're gonna try to just get passes for the weekend and just watch. You know, it's one of those.
Just kind of get to go back to be a fan.
Yeah,
a little bit.
For sure. And I'm psyched on the new Alexis record coming out and whatever.
Have you heard the full thing?
I've heard 6 of the songs.
Cool.
Yeah, and they're so good. I think, and I love like Sweet Dreams of Otherness, that new track. I'm just like such a fan. So I'm like, it's a new record. Holy shit!
It's not called Born and Raised because of the Alexis song, is it?
It might be. I don't totally know.
Like, I thought aren't all the bands from the immediate
or the area?
I thought it was from the area. Is what was the name was behind the name?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know why it would be called that other than. Yeah,
I think they were born and raised though in St. Catharines. It's in St. Catharines.
Oh, Alexis was right, but most of the other bands.
I think it's like sort of Alexis and City and Colors festival. Though.
Okay, that makes sense.
And Joel from Dine Alone.
Right.
Yeah,
spearheading it.
Yeah,
okay.
But I trust those guys. They've done a lot of right.
Yeah. When is it? When is that festival?
It's July.
Yeah. Or June and July. It's like a weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you probably told the story 1,000 times, but we got to hear it anyway. So you text Dallas.
Oh yeah.
Text him. You just straight up.
You've opened for him before, right?
Yeah.
Years ago, or
we got to do like London, England with them.
Right.
Like Alexandra Palace, like the biggest show we've ever played still, and so.
How much fear is there in sending that text and hearing,
so much.
No, dude, I can't.
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
Like, and my main fear is punishing any of my heroes, you know, like I never want to be a punisher. And just
don't you love we have that word now?
No. But I think that's my biggest nervous thing, because he's been someone that I'm so lucky to like have in my corner and encouraging me, and I'm afraid of over asking or sort of abusing that, you know. So we had this song that was like so beautiful and had strings on it and whatever, and I was thinking it would be sweet to have a voice that's better than mine on it, honestly, and so I thought, I wonder if Dallas would do it, and just threw it out there, you know, and I was low key like definitely hoping he would say yes, of course, but also prepared for a totally reasonable no or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then he was like, yeah, and I was like, and then I couldn't believe, like, it was like time was moving so slow until that day we recorded it, and I was like, I'll believe it when it happens, you know what I mean? And then it happened, and I was like, holy smokes! It was a crazy studio session. Like, that is like a visceral memory I'll have for the rest of my life.
Did you notice anything that Dallas does different, like when he comes into a studio, that you were like, you know, just the way he conducted himself or preparation stuff, that you're like, oh,
for sure. I mean, you can tell he produced many of his records and has been around amazing producers. You can tell he's like 10 records in, you know what I mean, or more than that.
Yeah.
Because he just knows, could you play this back or whatever, could you blah blah blah, go back, and I don't know, he came in, we were like, do you want us to print the lyrics off or whatever, and he was like, no, I got them, like, so it was, I know, and I was like, holy, just like a total pro. Like, yeah.
And does it all seem effortless? Like, so anytime
his voice?
Yeah, like, I almost hate seeing him live because it's just so effortless. Like, you look and go, there's so much you never have. Like, and not many people do.
No.
Like, it just looks like it's no effort, and it's just amazing.
I know. It seemed that way for sure. Like, I don't totally know his process or whatever, but I think he just must have pretty good muscles in there by now that it's totally effortless, and it seemed that way. He said at one point, do you mind if I marry Jay Blige on this one part? It's like, that's amazing to ask. Like, dude, I don't mind. Like, and I've heard a bit of what he's working on, luckily, like just with City and Color, and that shit is so good too. Like, the output, like his output, you know, is insane.
Yeah.
Like, and has been insane for whatever, almost 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just someone not to talk about it for forever.
I mean, it's a pretty cool moment.
It was totally.
It is funny from my perspective to have Suffer Summer. So you've got Stefan from Pup on one or two songs.
We wrote two together.
Right, two. Yeah. And then he also did two for the OBGMs, I think, right?
Okay.
Anyways, you've got Stefan on there. You've got Dallas Green. It's funny to hear these fan moments when they're already on the record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you worked closely with Stefan before?
Not on songwriting, but we had meant to, like, and I've hoped to. They tour so much, we tour a lot, like, it's just like trying to get two road dogs to meet up. It took a pandemic for it to happen, sort of, so, and even then, we did it, honestly, between Christmas and New Year's, like, that was our availability, you know, to get together, and we
Do you
just
like
churned.
that pressure of having a small window? Like, does that kind of make sure you crank it out then?
Totally. Yeah. Like, I always have lyrics pre-baked, you know, before we go. So I had done some homework, and then we got together, and Stefan was like quite meticulous, and he's an awesome songwriter. It goes without saying, but he's like pretty careful, like with what parts will have what impact, and obviously there comes Pup.
Yeah.
Like, just amazing, huge impact, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some pressure with tight time, but we were like, if we get one, sweet. If we get two or three, sweet. And we got like 2.5, I think. We've got like another idea or whatever, but it was awesome. So, and we had toured with them. They took us out on our first tour. We went for 6 weeks with them when we didn't even have anything out. They just sort of believed in the project, and for some reason, we just played first of 3, and it was unreal. Like, these big rooms with them. So he's been there.
They seem. We had Melanie from Casper Skulls on, and
sweet.
she was saying the same about him. Like, he's just insanely supportive,
for sure,
of local talent.
For sure.
Which is very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. I think for them, like back in the day, Colorado took him out and the Menzingers, and I think he doesn't take it for granted that like piggybacking bigger bands or whatever is so helpful to sort of this left of center guitar music, you know what I mean? That isn't necessarily played on the radio or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's been Pup's experience, I think, mostly, is like piggybacking. People see it live and they're like, fuck, this is good. I'm going to bring 10 of my friends next time. 10 more, and it just compounds. So, yeah, I think that's having, like Casper Skulls, that's going to happen with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 10 more people at a time, you know what I mean? So.
So you're here for a very short trip, just like 4 shows, right?
Yeah.
And then you're back. What was it?
May, which I love the story of how this tour with Bad Flower came to be. Right, so you guys just met at a gas station?
It's a
like
true story. It sounds fake. I almost didn't post that on my Instagram because it sounds fake. But we met in the States. We didn't know each other. We didn't know who our bands were. I think in 2019. And we just saw, honestly, I just saw someone with like, you know, the like keys hanging off a boot or a belt loop.
Yeah.
And we were just like grabbing chips or whatever. And we were like, are you playing shows or whatever? And we just got talking. They were on tour. We were on tour. It was like a minute maybe. And then we followed each other on Instagram. Just kept in touch. And he's been just like so supportive. Every time we drop something, it feels like, yeah, he's down. And so it just came up, and we're gonna do some shows with them now. Yeah, I know, it's actually pretty sweet. So
sometimes you just gotta bump into another band at a gas station on tour.
And where was it? Like just random middle of nowhere?
I have no idea. It was in the States. I know. Yeah. I wonder if he'll know. I'm gonna ask him when I see him.
Yeah.
It'll be the next time I see him. Yeah. It'll be the only 2 times.
And so you're doing, is it a Western Canada leg, or is it
It's a full, it's full, you know what I mean? People in Halifax get pissed.
Yeah.
It's Montreal to Vancouver, you know?
And who else is on the bill?
Just us 2.
Oh, okay,
Just us 2.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. But you're here, so you're back in Alberta in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
What's your experience in the past with this province? I know you said last night in Calgary it felt like somewhat of a hometown show.
Yeah, like that type of energy for sure. Like, it's all been good here.
Yeah.
It's all been good. Our first show here was with Proto-Martyr and on that, is it called Broken City?
Yeah.
Broken City roof, and it was like, okay, sick, we gotta come back, you know. And we've been back, I wonder how many times, maybe 5 or 6.
Right.
But it's like far from home, and the drives are not easy in Canada, but it sort of conditions us to like touring anywhere else is made easy by an experience of touring in Canada, especially overseas or whatever. It's like, is it okay if it's like a 3-hour drive?
I was just going to say, even especially like that northeastern part of the States, right? If you get to New York or, you know, that whole, like it's nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Philly to Baltimore is like 50 minutes or something crazy. It's like, it becomes easy.
Crazy. But, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then did you drive out here for this, or?
We flew into Winnipeg.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, flew into Winnipeg and flying back, luckily. So, these were supposed to be in January. It's like they're called winter option.
Right, yeah, I forgot about that.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it was still kind of winter. It was winter in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
It was snowing in Saskatoon, but it's become spring over here.
Oh, just wait.
Okay, yeah.
Just wait.
You guys got the Chinooks, don't you? Like, you got that.
Yeah. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
My wife had said the other day, she said, you think we'll get another dump of snow again? I'm like, honey, how long have you lived here? Yeah, there's going to be another.
Yeah,
we're not out of it yet.
Yeah, I know. My bandmates, some of them hadn't been out here, and they were like, can you see the Rockies, like when you're in Calgary? And I was like, in my imagination, you can. But then we got here, and I was like, yes, you actually can.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
And have you gone further out? Like, I mean, it's only from Calgary. It's like an hour and a half to Banff?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've driven through it. We've driven through it just to get to Vancouver, but we've never. I would love to play like Whistler and stuff too, and some of these like mountain
Well, Banff
towns.
has like a couple of
Got a couple of
venues.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't often see like independent shows go there. I don't think. Like mostly, I think it's like a station in Calgary, like X in Calgary, will have 2 or 3 bands there for some listener night. But
Okay.
I feel like I don't often see Banff on too many tour day lists. Do you?
I have a couple of times.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, not very
Shout
often.
out X in Calgary. There's a few X stations, right?
Yeah, they launched one here in Red Deer 5 years ago or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
They seem sweet. We listen to them when we're cruising.
Have they been spinning you at all?
They have. Yeah,
Okay.
I think they featured some stuff. And
Cool.
Yeah, but it seems like it's good hearing a good sort of station. There's not
Some
everywhere
new music.
has those, you know, like, so it's good this stretch
Yeah.
has them. There's one in Edmonton, one in Red Deer, one in Calgary.
Sonic in Edmonton.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Different company.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
unrelated. I wanted to ask about Ellis. What can you tell us about Ellis?
It's amazing. Yeah, Linnea is my partner and is a songwriter I've been looking up to for forever. I found her SoundCloud back in the day when she was doing some other projects, and I was like, I really want to write with her and whatever. I want to steal this damn song. I want to sing this song or whatever. So,
Also Whitby based or?
she was born in Regina.
Wow.
And she lived in Alberta. She lived in Red Deer.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she lived in Sylvan Lake. I know
Oh yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
She lived in Red Deer. And then she lived in Winnipeg. She lived in London, Ontario, and she's lived a bunch of places. But she's just, her sense of melody, I think, is unlike anyone's. Like, I think, well, have you heard it?
Yeah.
It's so good. Like, and her voice is insane. I don't know. The music just sort of speaks for itself.
Yeah, so follow Ellis Songs on Instagram, right?
Yes.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything, does she have anything in the works for 2022?
I think she's writing.
Yeah.
I think she's collaborating, and I think having me out of the house. We got a small apartment. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gets crowded. She's not afraid to like just rip. She rips piano, and but she's probably getting up to some songwriting this week that I'm gone. You know.
Yeah.
So she's working away. Like, she's only dropped good shit in my opinion. So I'm excited just to have something else on my, you know what I mean, phone to listen to too.
And she had a hand in Suffer Summer too?
She did, yeah, with Vicious Circle. She sings all over it. And we wrote Vicious Circle together.
Cool.
And I'd love to write with her more if she'll do it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you ask every day?
Yeah. Before she gets too big, I should. But
Well, that's very
Yeah.
nice. So you just found her on SoundCloud and reached out.
oh, we met in 07.
Oh, wow.
We met
Okay.
or in 08 or something. We were at the same, or I was at a show in London, Ontario, and long story short, we met each other, slept in her basement on a couch,
Yeah.
and now, yeah, we're together.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I want to work on maybe a project in the future with her. I dream of like just something more. Anyway, we'll see.
Do you have anything for her yet?
No, I want to find that maybe and work towards something, but we just gotta. I think we're both pretty obsessed with our projects,
Yeah.
like, and maybe if that obsession chills a little bit, we'll have some space to do some writing together for something together. We've, truth be told, we did write some songs during the pandemic.
Yeah.
When we had time and when it was started off, like, it was a rare moment in our careers, right, where there wasn't any pressure, there weren't these emails like, where's this or whatever, and
Yeah.
no deadlines because people didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Mhm.
So we got to some writing, and yeah,
We'll see.
we'll see what's up.
We'll see.
Anyways, yeah, there's nothing to
It's
talk
looking
about
like
yet.
this year's
No,
pretty, it's pretty packed full for you. Right
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
so.
We'll take it one thing at a time for
Yeah.
now, but yeah.
And then you've got the Born and Raised Festival, you've got the
Mhm.
Bad Flower dates. What's
Mhm.
the rest of the year look like otherwise?
We're doing Outbreak Fest in the UK with some of our favorite bands, like Deaf Heaven is
Oh,
playing
fuck.
and stuff, and
Nice.
some heavier stuff. We joke that we'll manipulate the set to be like harder for that. We've got these harder songs,
Yeah.
so
Well, to interrupt the Braid show on Monday night, there was a single dude, lone
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
super into the show. And I saw him and I thought, fuck, this is the other Braids fan in Red Deer. Like, I'm sure we share some musical interests, so I'm going to go talk to him. So I go talk to him after the show to basically say, like, you know, if you ever want to hit up a show, let me know. He flew in from Portland that day.
Wow.
To come to fucking Red Deer to see Braids, who he's never seen before.
Love
he
it.
had a couple days off, and he just couldn't make the Calgary show.
Yeah.
Like, just do whatever. So I got talking to him, and he had seen Deaf Heaven like a week ago or something.
Oh, sweet.
But hadn't listened to their new record.
Yeah. Oh.
So he didn't realize that like their tone had kind of changed quite a bit, but it's so
Yeah.
beautiful. So
It's so good. That
I'm very
new
jealous
record.
you get to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, I know. I'm pumped for that. And we've been listening to that new record too. And yeah, we're doing that. And then we're going to do a big, long, like, co-headline.
Okay.
With a mystery band.
All right. Yet to be announced?
Yeah, no. Sort of. In at the end of summer.
Cool.
So.
Just in the East, or?
We're going to do everywhere.
All right.
We're going to just do, in the States, I think. I think
Yeah.
we're going to do the States alone, but, yeah. It's the 4th reschedule of this tour.
Oh, fuck.
So, it's just been a lot, and we're hoping, you know, we're wearing our masks and shit out here. A few of our bandmates have got it. In December, we did a tour, and I'm the only one that hasn't got it on our crew, and I'm just like, I don't want it. I don't want it. Like, I don't want to cancel shit. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to get other people sick, you know? So I'm just like, I'll fucking mask up and whatever. We passed some Freedom people on our way in. Did you see them?
Shocking.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know exactly
On the
where you
corner.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't gotten the
They
news.
haven't got the news. Well, there's literally, I drove past them last weekend, and they had a big sign that said "End mandates."
Yeah.
I'm like, I think that happened.
Yeah,
actually.
Alberta is open, baby. What are you
Fully.
talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was shocked to see. In that situation now, maybe I've mellowed or something, but I just do. My instinct, I think, in a non-condescending way, is just to talk to them now. Like, what is the vision or whatever, you know, and what. Because I kind of bet, I don't know, not to get political and whatever, but I bet there's more in common with these people than I'm picturing initially when I see them, and I'm like, you know what I mean?
what?
Like,
It
they're
honestly
probably
goes
working
back
people, and
to what we talked about earlier with
Yeah.
the opioid crisis and everything, you have to look a little deeper.
Yeah.
So if we're expecting people to look a little deeper into that,
Exactly.
you're right. The same should go the other way. Look
Yeah.
a little deeper into this.
I do think that something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially with these so-called patriots, but the desire to be part of a community is, I think, very strong. And
Yeah.
like, I don't think, maybe I could be wrong on the stats, but I don't think as many people go to church every week as they used to.
right.
I don't think the communities and churches are still growing necessarily.
No.
You used to have Kinsmen, like Kinsman's not growing, right? All these like community groups that weren't churches that people went to specifically to connect with neighbors, or
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
It's
I think
different,
a lot
sure.
of people are lacking that, and it's pretty easy online to latch onto that new community.
That's what it's such a good point. Like, when I see people, especially just like hyper nationalistic, like Canada flag waving, it's like, do you actually love this country like that much? Like, why?
Yeah, no.
Or whatever. Like, I just want to, just see what, I don't know.
There are many glaring issues. Are you
Yeah.
not seeing them?
But not that I want to give sort of platform to
Right.
dangerous ideas or
Yeah.
whatever, but I just think my suspicion is there's some resentment or something somewhere in them, you know what I mean? And if we could just talk, maybe, I don't really know.
Hey,
I
that's the
agree.
next
100%.
Next
Yeah,
trilogy.
it's like, if we can talk in a reasonable way that I'm not being asked to believe anything dangerous to other people.
It's
or
tough
whatever.
though when you've got the amount of passion that's involved to
Right.
have a straight up conversation
Right.
and have it remain,
Right.
low key. Usually, passion's going to get in the way and things are going to get heated, and then it's tough to.
Can't we just take
For
half
sure.
of them and convince them to get passionate about like carpentry or something?
Right. Which maybe they are, though. I think what we have in common, we can start there, is like, are we working people? And
Yeah.
do we work our asses off? You know what I mean? And what do we get in return? You know, less and less these days. You know what I mean? So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
you're-
do we all hate Justin Trudeau? I kind of do. Let's talk. You know what I mean? Let's talk about that. Like, let's start there. I think it's like people on the right or people on the left. I think it's just like, are we working people? Can we start there? What's the common struggle?
Well, and the other problem is the extremes are the loudest, right?
Yeah.
And also technically the smallest.
Right.
I like to believe there's more of us that are kind of somewhere a little closer to the middle at least, and willing to kind of be on the work. But yeah, the ends are very loud.
Give it 10 years and maybe everyone will know more about the Class 4 means.
Well, you got
right, exactly.
You drove past the Freedom Convoy, and then the next stop was Value Village.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is would have been about
and you got Borat.
I got Borat.
DVD.
And the
you check
cashier
for
said
scratches?
420. I didn't. Have you seen the front though? Like this is the.
Oh yeah. I do remember that.
It looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good.
It looks good. My bandmates are here.
And
should
we are.
they come in or should we wrap her up?
We're good to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think we're good to wrap it up.
Sweet.
Yeah,
but
because you guys are playing tonight.
We're playing tonight. We're on our way to Edmonton. We're gonna go to Donut Mill first. Though,
all right. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, one of these days, Chastity, Bose Barn stage.
It would be sick.
Deal.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Appreciate it. Good to
Of
see you.
course.
I'm really glad that we got to talk to Brandon Williams, aka Chastity.
Yeah, it's
Super cool dude.
Super cool dude, and can't wait to get him at Bo's first stage.
Yeah, that
Like
shows.
on that stage proper. That's
One day that show will happen. I hope. I think it'll happen, and it'll be fantastic.
And I think that'll be one of my all-time favorite stories of how, especially before I knew the inner workings of the music business,
Yep.
I'd always be like, how did that band get to open for that band? How
yeah,
is that all?
right? Yeah. Gas station. Yeah.
Gas station meetings in the middle of nowhere.
Speaking of opening bands, did you see what happened down in Calgary yesterday?
No.
So there was a big show at Zamac Hall, Royal Blood, and Cleopatra. And Gone Cosmic got the call to open yesterday morning.
Just out of
I don't know what
Cleopatra
the story
still
is.
did their,
Yeah, I think so.
just so in
I think
addition
it
to
was
the
a
set.
last minute. I think maybe the local opener couldn't do it or something. And I was talking to Marcello, the drummer from Gone Cosmic, who I believe we have plans to come hang out on the green screen in the Communal Creative Studios one of these days. I was like, holy shit, is this like is it real? He's like, yeah, just found out. And I think I texted him around 2 or 1 or something. And they were on stage playing for thousands of people that have never heard of them before.
Like
probably,
honestly,
right?
and I don't have the experience, but I mean, a good way, because now you're not spending weeks thinking, oh my God, we got this
I know.
Cleopatra Royal Blood show coming up. Oh
Yeah.
my God, we got this. Like, just go.
Just
You
go.
just got to do it.
And it looks like they killed it. So
Sweet. Well, I'm going to the show tomorrow night in Edmonton, so I'm imagining they're probably not
had a night off,
taking a trip out.
in between Calgary and Edmonton.
Yeah.
Huh, weird.
Huh.
Well, enjoy that show, and like we said, one day we'll get to see Chastity around these parts. He will be back through Alberta shortly, though, in just a few weeks. With,
And it's a must that you can't skip that album. Like that is a
Suffer
absolute
Summer. Check it
must
out.
listen to album.
The third in a trilogy of beautiful, dark, and also uplifting music.
Yep.
Who are we hanging out with today, Pete?
Big thanks to our friends at Sawback Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Who have one of the sweetest patios in town, and they're going to do concerts in the round in this patio because the stage is set up right in front of their big garage doors.
Cool.
So now they're going to have people out on the patio
Cool.
and then people in the tap room and like big shows in the round
Sweet.
for some great smaller shows at Sawback. Obviously, we've got so much to look forward to at Bo's Barn Stage.
Yeah.
Just a jam-packed schedule.
Yeah, that Cancer Bats Comeback Kid Misery Signal show that you just heard Chastity mention is tomorrow night.
Dan Mangan.
Oh my god!
Very soon.
I keep forgetting that show is
Shaky Graves.
Tuesday. Shaky
is
Graves,
next
yeah.
week. So yes, so that's up full bore, and also a big shout out to Go Services Inc. for the
Boom!
support as well.
And Bo's Barn Stage, home of great live music, great food, great beers, and of course producers Ryan and Riley. Ryan, this may be the first podcast episode Ryan hasn't been here for.
And it's not appendix
'Cause
related.
he's busy recording an album, that's not a secret, right? It's
I
been very public.
don't think it's a secret. They're posting all
Yeah,
over
maybe it's not an
social
album. They're
media.
recording
It's
music.
Two songs, I think,
Recording
is what's
music.
going on.
And producer Riley back there just bought some crazy fucking instrument on Kijiji. I'm going to go figure out what the hell it is.
Write a new theme song for The Road the Stage that maybe you'll hear on our next episode, which comes...
Well, that'll take a few weeks.
Oh.
It'll take a few weeks.
So
Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Communal Creative Studios, where you can see a new episode of The Road the Stage every Wednesday.
in partnership with Go Services Inc., Sawback Brewing Co., Tourism Red Deer, and Bo's Bar and Stage.